How is it going? A couple of things. First of all, got my Tool shirt on. As a Tool fan, I've been waiting 13 years for a new studio album. So they released a song today called Fear Inoculum. The title track of their new album coming out. And pretty pumped. It's pretty awesome. So if you haven't listened to it, and I don't know if you're a Tool fan or not, but go out there and check out Fear Inoculum by Tool. It's uh, it's 10 minutes of pretty interesting music. Uh, Also, Bitcoin market. I threw this chart out on Twitter earlier today, and a couple people were asking a couple questions, so I thought I'd go through it real quick. Uh, it's This is the daily Bitcoin versus the dollar. The things that I have on the chart, the white lines are trend lines. The arrows are trend line break objectives. I got a Fibonacci retracement on here. The circles are going to be what I'm going to be talking about. Down below, I have the ADX, which is the black line, which measures the strength in trend momentum. And then the green and red directional index lines. The green is the positive, the red is the negative, and the green is elevated right now for the positive, which is the current bullish trend here in the near term on the daily. So this is just kind of measuring a day over day basis on the movement of trend. Uh, one thing I had a while back was a 16K call, way back when on this long trend line here when we broke at this point. Uh, when we broke here, if you take the distance of the rate of change from the lowest point up to the trend line and take that same rate of change, above the line here, it kind of gives you a target to watch for as long as the trend, of course, stays in place. And as we moved up here, we hit some fibs and some shallow fibs, and kept the trend going. We did correct back here. Found an area that I really liked around 9100, and that's when I was telling people that support should be had here. Kind of tested it again, gave us a little scare, but we've bounced since then. The other things that are on here, the moving averages, the 21 exponential moving average tried to cross down through the 34. Did not. One thing I'm really looking for is to see if either one of those cross down through the 55. Then I'll be a little nervous to say this thing might be switching to the other side. But right now, the crossovers were not happening on the moving average. We're definitely starting to get some bullish momentum. Uh, it's a little weak at the moment, but it's in the right direction. So that's one thing I'm liking. So the two circles on here, the breakout at this point on the long-term trend line here, the ADX was starting to increase. We got out of this area of consolidation. We're like we are today, a little area of consolidation on here, but then the ADX is kicked to the upside, and the positive directional index is also increasing to the upside as it broke the trend line. This is just one indicator, but I just wanted to show you what it's looking like today as price is pushing up against this trend line of resistance, and we're kind of pushing up against 12,000, 12K at the moment. And if we bust above this trend line here, if the ADX continues to increase on a day-over-day basis and the bulls are taking control at the same time it's breaking this trend line, the distance of this nearer term trend line breakout puts us around 16,000. So even the long-term trend line and the latest hopefully post consolidation also gives us 16K. So I'm sticking with my 16K, longer term target. Not that it can't fall back down. Right now, I like the 55 exponential moving average as a really strong floor, and that's at 10.1. But you got some other levels, 11.1s. A lot of people have been looking at. So, just even this 10.9 on this 38.2% level that we've been watching from this leg is also comes into play. But say some people were asking me, well, what if it gets all the way up to your 16, and where does it go from there? Real quick, if we put just a quick retracement on it, just from this whole leg, if this is a whole 5 waves to the upside, which I think it should be, you're gonna, just say it goes to 16 or so. Let me move this out a little further so we can see what we're looking at here. just say it goes to around 16 or so. I like the shallow fib level if we want to keep this moving to the upside, because the breakout point of this trend line is going to be an area to kind of watch, because this could be a support and resistance flip. Of course, we're going to need the momentum behind us, and we're just starting to get that, so hopefully it'll bust out. But the shallow fib level is 11.1, so I really like that level as an area to look at if 16K actually hits. If it only hits the 13,000 or that previous high, that comes down to be 9,800. But again, if it gets to 16K and the full retracement, we're looking at 8,100. So that could come into play, the 8,500 that everybody's talking about. That gap in the market, all those gap boys out there talking about, hey, it's got to fill, it's got to fill. That could be something to look at there. If it goes to only 13, then you're looking at 7,200, which would be a pretty good retracement back, to that point. So, but we're not at that point at the moment. Just wanted to show you some of the levels I've been looking at, and right now I'm waiting for this trend line break. If this doesn't break, then we can get into a little bit more tighter range Fibonacci and say if it's at that point, then you're looking at 10.3 as that level, which puts us close to that 55 exponential moving average if it starts to break down, and that'll be the area to buy dips unless the internal indicators tell us otherwise. So that's where I'm at. Excuse me. That's where I'm at with this. So enjoy this chart. Happy trading. Peace out, and go listen to Tool.